Okay, you're on.
This is a regular meeting of the Princeton Zoning Board of Adjustment being held electronically via Zoom on December 10th, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. Pursuant to Section 13 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of the time and place of this meeting has been given by prominently posting the sunshine notice of the Princeton Zoning Board of Adjustment. Such notice has been placed on the official bulletin board of the Princeton Municipal Complex and by transmitting a copy of the notice to the Princeton Packet, Town Topics, the Times, Trentonian, and by filing a copy with the Clerk of Princeton on December 5th, 2025, and has been posted to the municipal website at www.princeton.nj.gov/meetings. Pursuant to Executive Order 107, due to the state of emergency in New Jersey regarding COVID-19, notice that during the declared state of emergency, all regular and special meetings of the Princeton Zoning Board of Adjustment will be held electronically via Zoom, was transmitted to the Princeton Packet, Town Topics, and the Times, and was filed with the clerk of the Princeton municipality on 24th day of April 2020. Such notices have been placed on the official bulletin board at the Princeton Municipal Complex and on the Princeton website and are to be maintained throughout the year and by transmitting a copy of same to the Princeton Packet, Town Topics, the Times, Trentonian, Comcast Media, and by filing a copy thereof with the Clerk of Princeton. Notices have also been placed on the window doors of the municipal complex. Claudia, would you take the roll?
Ms. Chen,
Here.
Ms. Coulson,
Here.
Mr. Floyd,
Here.
Mr. Shriver,
Here.
Mr. Tenenbaum, Mr. Stein, Ms. Donna,
Yes.
Mr. Dobkin,
Here.
Mr. Cohen. Thank you.
Thank you. We have three administrative matters to resolve tonight. I think if we combine these, we can vote a straight yes or no without calling roll. The resolution.
Stephen, we do
Yes.
need to call roll, but what I'm going to say is maybe we can just do a motion and second for each of them and then collectively just do one
Okay.
roll call vote.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So we have the annual meeting calendar, and I bring to your attention on that calendar the fact that we have 2 dates in January and 2 dates in February scheduled. Just so you're aware of those 2 dates, we have a lot of cases on our agenda. So we have the annual meeting calendar, the notice of special meetings that we have to post annually, and the fixed charges for the meeting notices of the Zoning Board of Adjustment. If I could have a blanking on the word.
Motion
A motion to pass.
and a second.
And a second.
I move.
Thank you.
Who was
Second?
that?
David.
David.
Stop.
Second?
Seconded.
Anyone?
Bernice.
Bernice, thank you.
Okay.
You want to take the roll?
Ms. Chen,
Yes.
Ms. Coulson,
Yes.
Mr. Floyd,
Yes.
Ms. Donna,
Yes.
Mr. Dobkin,
Yes.
Vice Chair Shriver.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, moving to the resolutions. The first resolution, I think the only resolution, is 66 Dempsey Avenue, Block 5804, Lot 57, R6-T zone. You should have that in your packet. Are there any questions, comments, or would somebody like to make a motion to pass?
I make the motion.
David, thank you. Second? Anyone want to second
Sure,
it?
I'll second.
Denise, I'm sorry. When I said second, I assumed you assumed I was seconding it. Thank you. Claudia, you want to take the roll?
Ms. Chen,
Yes,
Mr. Dobkin,
Yes.
Vice Chair Shriver.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we have 4 resolutions tonight. The first one, 164 Prospect Avenue, Block 55.01, Lot 16, R-2 in the B zone. Rich, are you representing them tonight? You're on mute, and we can't see you. You're still on mute, Rich.
Muted.
Wish I was better at this.
There you go.
Good
Thank
evening
you.
and thank you for your time.
You're asking for an extension?
We are asking for an extension to the January 2026 calendar, please.
Derek, Claudia, is there any problem with that?
No, the date will be the 28th, 1/28/26.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. We'll see you on the 28th of January next year.
Very good. Everyone be safe.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
The second application is 15 Hilldale Road, Block 7207, Lot 4 in the R6-T zone. Who is representing this? Dan, I can't see you and you're muted. Eugene, the same.
There
Sorry
we go.
about that. I'm trying to getting used to this. It's been a while
That's
using
okay.
Zoom, meetings.
All right, before you start, Karen, are we in order?
Yes, this application was carried to tonight's date. And it's my understanding the applicant has some additional information they'd like to present to you. A question had been raised with respect to stormwater management, and they're back tonight to further address that.
Okay,
I think
Taylor, do you
there's one more person that needs to be pulled over. Is that Yishuan Lee?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, he should be here. I see him. He texted me. He's here.
Yeah, I see him in the attendees, so.
all right, Claudia will pull him over.
There we go.
Anyone else?
No, that's it. Just the applicant and I.
Mr. Song, is
Okay.
Mr. Lee going to testify? Because we can't see him and he's muted.
Yes, he will be
There he
testifying.
is. Mr.
I'm
Lee,
here.
we'll just swear you in because I think you'll probably testify tonight. Do you swear from your testimony this evening will be truthful?
Yes, I do.
And Mr. Bridger will swear you in for the evening. Do you swear from your testimony this evening will be truthful?
I do, and if you could swear Taylor in now too, she's gonna
Okay,
present some of the
and
cases.
Ms. Gribben, do you swear or affirm your testimony this evening will be truthful?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, Taylor, would you like to present the case?
Actually, I'm gonna do this one. She's gonna do the two new cases. This application, I don't know if the applicant wants to explain, they did submit a plan. Remember last hearing, a couple of the neighbors were concerned about drainage from the placement of the garage, and they talked about installing a wall on the property line. And we just suggested that they submit a plan that could be reviewed by the municipal engineer, the land use engineer, and they did do that. And you basically kind of have a representation of the plan that is to be presented in rough form, and they'll have to do a more formal plan, but the land use engineer, Jim Purcell, did review it, And he did think it was satisfactory. Obviously, it'll have to be placed on a survey and with some more details. But that's just a synopsis of where the situation is right now. I don't know if you have anything to add. The applicant.
Mr. Lee, do you have anything further to add? Because I understand that you also met with the two neighbors.
Yes, I did. So we actually reviewed this detailed plan with the town engineers and also the two neighbors. So they are both shows satisfactory to this design. And I do have that design on my screen. If you will, I can present to you if you like.
I think that'd be good
Yeah, please
to
do.
that.
Okay. Okay. So as you can see, so basically, I'm going to show you this existing condition. So starting from here towards the property line in the front, there's already existing curb wall has been there from the previous owners. And so what I propose is I'm going to extend this concrete curb wall all the way to the back of the property line. And that way it could divide that two properties so that it can contain the water, the stormwater in my property, in my backyard. And if you look at this, I'm going to reduce a little bit. If you look at this survey, so you can see basically this red line is basically presenting that new curb wall that I'm going to install, and it's going to start in the middle of the yard. The front, this black line is the existing curb wall, right? So I'm going to extend it all the way to the back. And also, I took the recommendation from the township site engineer. So I'm going to install a 3 feet by 20 feet area of the landscaping berm. So that way, this berm will plant those type of water-loving plants so that the water can also absorb by the plants in the back. So it become a landscaping feature. So that the water will contain within my backyard. And this is the detailed design of that. So basically, we're gonna put about around 15-inch tall of that concrete wall, and then about half of it will be buried into the ground, and then we're gonna stick every 3 feet. There will be a rebar stick all the way to the soil, the ground, so that it can hold that concrete wall. So basically, that's the engineer design, and we send it to the neighbor, and neighbor seems like the idea. Yep, that would be what I have for you, for everyone.
Mr. Song, would you like this to be, I guess you're up to Exhibit A2?
Yes, A2, I believe. Yeah, because the
Yes.
first one, I believe, was the PowerPoint presentation.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Zoning board members, do you have any questions, comments? Okay, we will close this section. If you have anything else you'd like to say, Mr. Lee, before we go into the public section, do you have a summary?
No, I do not have anything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll open it up to the public. If there's anybody in the public who would like to speak, please hit the raise your hand button on the bottom of the screen and we will move you over. Claudia, do you see any hands?
No. Oh, wait a minute.
Alex Levine? Mr. Levine, if you would like to speak, we need to see your picture, your face, not just the picture.
Is that better?
Yeah, thank you very
Mr.
much.
Levine, if you're
Yes.
comfortable, could you give us your address, please?
Yes, my address is 327 Walnut Lane.
Alrighty, and do you swear or affirm any testimony you give this evening will be truthful?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I think I let the board know today, and I let Mr. Lee know that I have no problem with I'm more than satisfied with the revisions of the site plan with respect to the drainage issues, which pretty much took up the whole time of our discussion last week or last month, and there was a lot of detail, and the site plan came back very detailed, and that one works for me. What, as far as I recall, didn't come up a month ago was this question of the 3-foot setback per the request for the variance, or the 5-foot setback per current zoning ordinance. This is will be in my backyard, rising very close to the fence, a sizable structure, and this property was purchased with the knowledge that there was a requirement for a 5-foot setback, that current code would not allow for a driveway along the property line, it's I guess I'm speaking in my own interest, but also in the interest of the zoning ordinances, that the requirement of a 5-foot setback, actually be enforced. And I think that variances should only be granted for very pressing reasons, and in my opinion, this is not one. It's his interest against my interests is really what this boils down to. And I have the ordinances on my side, and you have your ability to grant the variance. So that's my statement. Well, I won't
Levine,
repeat myself. I won't
Mr.
repeat
Levine,
myself anymore.
Just, Mr. Levine, just to clarify, your concern is the variance for the garage setback?
Correct.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Anyone else in the public want to speak? I see another hand. Claudia, do you want to transfer them over? Dan?
Yeah, I had my hand up, but then had to be admitted.
Yeah, right.
Here's Dan.
Right. Here's Dan. Dan, you're muted and we can't see you. Now we can see you, but we can't hear you.
Still muted.
There you go.
Thank you.
Mr. Glow, you're 335 Walnut, is that right?
That is correct.
Alrighty. And do you swear or affirm any testimony you give this evening will be truthful?
Yes.
Thank you.
Please go ahead.
Thank you for another opportunity to allow me to speak to the board. In the last November meeting, I raised concern on the rainwater runaway from 15 Hillside into my property at 335 Walnut Lane, and also into my neighbor, Mr. Alex Levine's house at 327 Walnut. Since then, the owner of 15 Hillside, Mr. David Lee, has already come up with the engineering design to build and extend the container wall between our properties along the property line. I think the retaining wall design has adequately addressed my concern. So here, I just want to express my sincere appreciation to David for his effort to agree to build that retaining wall. Secondly, regarding the concern on the 3 feet side setback, as already raised by Alex, I spoke with David early this evening. What I remind him is this garage is going to be further into the backyard with another 15 feet at least extension from the existing driveway that is right next to the property line from my backyard. I think the garage, which is so far away from the front yard, will be used as most of my neighbors do as a storage place, and the garage is very small. And most likely, Mr. Lee and his family will use the existing driveway and extension of the new driveway as a parking lot for his cars. And even though that driveway has a 0 setback from the property line from my backyard, I don't mind his continuation of using that as his parking lot. In that case, I don't think personally compliance with the 5 feet side setback as per the zoning regulation would make a big deal for his ownership. So that would be my opinion on this. Thank you again.
Just for clarification, did you say you don't mind if the garage is built?
I don't mind, no. I don't mind Mr. Lee and his family using the existing and extension of the concrete driveway with a 0 setback from my property line as his parking lot. I don't mind that, even though I know previous owner had that as a violation to the zoning regulations.
Okay, but you have no opinion about the garage?
I would appreciate the zoning board can continue.
I'm afraid you just froze on us.
Adhere to garage size instead of 3 feet.
Would you mind repeating that?
Yeah.
You froze on my screen at least.
Okay. I support a 5 feet side setback requirement on the wall structure next to the property line.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else in the public want to speak? Okay, I don't see any other hands, so we'll close the public portion of this. Before we go into executive session, would you like to make a statement, Mr. Lee?
I understand that. So to me, my argument again, it's because of the structure. It's close to the corner of the house, so we feel that 3 feet will make it more convenient to mentoring that car into the garage. But I totally understand the neighbor's concern, but to my point, the 3 feet and 5 feet might not make much difference. But I'm okay to open to both. To me, it's not really a big deal. So it's up to the zoning board to discuss about this.
Okay. Anything else?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll close this portion and go into executive session. Zoning board members, how do you feel? Any emotions, any concerns, any questions? Donna?
I think what the applicant is saying is that the garage is something he's willing to forego for the sake of the application. Is that what you're saying, sir?
So what I make my case like one ought to consider that will give me more convenience to allow the 3 feet setback versus 5 feet enforced by the zoning code. I would appreciate consideration. Will give me more convenience, right? More safety, car mentoring. But if it really down to the point where people are really concerned about it, I would accept as the 5 feet just to make this case move forward and in the sense of everyone's time. But I would probably gonna push this the car garage probably a few feet back to the backyard just to make that driveway a little bit longer. If that's 5 feet, it's gonna be the way to go.
Donna, what I'm hearing is that the applicant is willing to eliminate the variance for the garage setback so that he'll comply with the 5-foot requirement. And I see Mr. Lee nodding his head, so I'm assuming that's correct.
Yes, that's correct. So that we can move forward with this application.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
So on the
So
current drawing we have, is it a 3-foot setback?
Yes.
So you would move the garage over towards the patio?
Not over. It's kind of a push inward by 2 feet.
The garage will meet the 5-foot setback. That's
Okay.
required by the ordinance.
But
That would leave the variances for the side yard setback, for the second floor addition. And yeah, there's a set of variances for that. And the variance for the driveway setback. Required 5 feet, proposed is 0 to 3.5 feet.
It's hard to describe because it's on an angle from a 0 setback to what the garage was going to be 3 feet. So it'll probably be 0 to 5 feet now, something like that.
Okay,
Thanks.
so, but the garage would become narrower or the whole garage would move over 2 feet?
No, the garage is going to slide over 2 feet to the interior of the lot, so it meets that 5-foot side yard setback. And you may extend the driveway a bit to make maneuverability into the garage a little less dramatic.
Got it.
Thank you, Terry.
You're welcome, sir.
But the extension of the driveway doesn't require a variance, is that correct?
That's correct, Mr. Dobkin.
Thank you.
Michael, you look like you were going to say something.
Absolutely not.
Okay, any other comments? Anyone want to make a motion?
one question though, whoever makes the motion, this is being presented as both a C1 hardship variance or a C2, I believe. Yeah, they've requested either or both. So whoever makes the motion, I'd appreciate if we would just identify whether you feel this is a hardship situation, if so, why, or if it's a C2, then what purposes do you think that the application is supporting? So
I'll move to approve it. I guess because it is its existing conditions are less than the required setbacks, it would be a hardship, and lot area is under as well.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Eve, thank you.
Yeah.
Any more discussion? Any comments?
I would agree with the motion except for the garage. I think that should meet the 5-foot setback. So
Oh,
there's
right.
no-
Yeah, that's
is.
what,
Yeah.
he already,
Yeah, he
Stated
agreed to
that.
that. a little
Okay,
earlier.
okay, so that's included in the motion.
So we'll make just clear, the motion then would include variances for the side yard setback, second floor addition. We have proposed 8.87 feet left side, 12.79 feet right side, and then also 13.79 feet. And no variance for the garage. And driveway setback would be proposed. It would kind of vary between 0 to 5 foot setback.
Okay. Donna, anything else?
Do we, does he need to work out with Derek or someone from the zoning department? He talked about extending the driveway to,
Yeah, I can speak to that. So when a variance gets approved, it's reviewed by the engineer and myself. So we'll see if the driveway extension creates any new impervious coverage. If it does, he'll have to address that. And then we'll just make sure all the conditions in the resolution are met before it's signed off on. But that's a good question.
okay.
Yeah, I can tell I know it's gonna be very minor extension because I'm not intended to push the garage all the way to the back. But just probably about another 3 or 4 feet further back just to make the minimization a little bit easier. That's all. Yeah. Keep it minimum, basically.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Claudia, you want to take the roll?
Ms. Chen,
yes,
Ms. Coulson,
Yes.
Mr. Floyd,
Yes.
Ms. Donna,
Yes.
Mr. Falcon,
Yes.
Vice Chair Shriver.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good luck with your project.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good holidays ahead.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, it's 8:05. We'll go to the next resolution, or application, which is 6 Evelyn Place, block 34.01, lot 7 in the R3-B zone, the Jugtown Historic District.
I'll note that the
I see
noticing
Mr.
is in order.
Kennedy.
The noticing is in order and the board has jurisdiction tonight to hear it.
Okay. Do you want to swear people in before we start this, Karen?
Well, I'm not sure who we're swearing in, so I guess we'll
Jeff?
find out from Mr. Kennedy, their attorney. Oh, I'm sorry, we have Elizabeth. Take that back. Elizabeth, if you could unmute yourself.
Elizabeth, are you there?
Okay. Well, let's do this. Let's why don't we begin with Derek, or I'm sorry, Taylor's going to present, I think, and then we'll see if
All
we
right.
can get Elizabeth on the screen.
All right. So we are in order.
We
Karen,
are.
will you present the case, please?
Do I need to be
Oh,
sworn in
Taylor, I'm
beforehand?
sorry.
That's okay.
That's
That's okay.
we swore you in at the beginning, Taylor. You're
Okay.
good.
Yeah,
Okay.
Taylor, please.
So the subject property lot is 6 Evelyn Place. Again, that's block 34.01, lot 7. It's in the R3B zone. And it is in the Jugtown Historic District. There was a HPC memo released December 5th, 2025. Hopefully Elizabeth will be able to speak to that. An overview of the project is the applicant constructed a single family dwelling within the mean prevailing front yard setback on the lot. The required mean prevailing front yard setback was calculated and selected for the property at 33 feet, and the constructed foundation of the single-family dwelling is located at 31 feet from the front property line. The subject lot complies with the applicable bulk requirements. The applicant received original zoning and HPC approval on March 18th of 2024. Again, the applicant constructed a single-family home within the mean prevailing front setback determined for the subject property. Per code section B10A 376.1, the mean prevailing front yard setback is determined by calculating the mean front yard setback of the principal dwellings within 500 feet in each direction on the same side of the street within that same zoning district. In this case, and per the code section, if the subject lot has 3 or fewer dwellings on the same side of the street, the property owner shall have the option to match either front yard setback of those 3 or fewer dwellings. The mean prevailing front yard setback for the subject property was calculated with 2, 4, and 8 Evelyn Place being the only lots on the same side of the street in the same zone. There were the property owners had to choose between the following prevailing front yard setbacks, being 37 feet, 34 feet, and 33 feet. During the construction and after the first approval, the dwelling was constructed both by error and by misinterpreting Section E. The foundation was constructed within the mean front yard setback chosen by the property owner. The required, which was selected, was 33, and the existing is 31. The only change to this application is that the garage in the, I don't think this was supposed to be in this one. Yeah.
It is.
It is?
Yeah.
The only change in the application is that the garage in the backyard has been shifted away from the side property line further into the subject property.
If I may,
Hi, I'm in a Zoom meeting.
Elizabeth might be able to speak to that. Ryan Kennedy for the applicant, but we would have to go back to HPC to make that change. So that's actually not part of the application. The garage was previously approved by HPC where it's shown on the side. And we would go back to HPC if that were to be changed. So we're actually not proposing a change to the garage this evening. So apologies for that.
Okay, it was just I think it was on the drawings that were submitted. So we'll just be guided by your testimony.
Okay. And if anybody has any questions or concerns, I'd be happy to try to answer.
Can you give us a summary of what you said? What is the real question here that we're considering?
I mean, a misinterpretation of the zoning code for the mean prevailing front yard setback is what we're here for.
Okay. It was which they chose one, which was the 33, right?
Yeah, they chose the 33, but it was constructed at 31.
And part of that
closer than
is that there's a 2-foot variance. Like if you have a mean prevailing setback and it's, let's say 37, you could go down to 35 feet, but that's only when there's a mean, when there's just 3 houses on a lot, in a range. You have to choose one, and they chose 33, and they thought that they could slide it forward within that 2-foot, deviation that's permitted in the calculation of the mean, but that does not apply when you only have 3 houses within the range of the front yard setbacks to be chosen from. So.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Taylor?
I just have a question. When they pushed the house forward, did the whole house shift so that the backyard is now a larger setback than expected by 2 feet?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Kennedy, do you want to give us a presentation?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Ms. Gribben and Mr. Bridger, thank you so much. If Elizabeth comes back, I think she'll hopefully corroborate what I'm about to say, but I want to thank you all for your time this evening. As Ms. Griffin said, this is a case where the applicant essentially mistakenly, and for two reasons, I think as Mr. Pritchard noted at the end, built the house not fully 2 feet closer, but we'll show you an almost de minimis, and I don't mean from the footage, but only a very small portion of a very uniquely designed home on a very unique lot, which is curved on a very unique street where there are only 3 houses to compare it to, one of which is actually perpendicular at the end of the street. And ultimately, the applicant realized the mistake after construction had started, went to the town, discussed what the options should be, kind of stopped completing the front of the home before we could go to HPC and here to this board to ask for the variance in lieu of drastically changing either the design of the home or the physical frontage of it, and unfortunately the foundations and framing. We went to HPC last month. This is a term I don't usually hear from them, but ultimately they had no objections to the design or the change or the requirement here. Interestingly, and you'll hear when we talk to our architect to get some testimony in a minute, ultimately the design and location of what the HPC originally saw was at this exact location. It was, I think, later understood that that plus or minus 2 feet doesn't count when one does the prevailing setback under this less than 4 home on the street method. Ultimately, based on that mistake, the house was mislocated, built at 31. But again, I want to stress, we'll show you what 31 means in this. And is a little corner of one small piece of the house. It is not the entire frontage of an otherwise square home that addresses the street. We will have our architect this evening, Jeff Fleischer, to go through the information. But ultimately, I hope you'll agree with us and have the same lack of concern that HPC had, that this is really a de minimis change that actually is a better design for the street. I'll pause there, Mr. Chairman. I know Ms. Kim is back, and I'm happy to yield the floor to her.
Yeah, board members, would you like to hear from Ms. Kim now so that she can put this,
Sure.
let you hear the HPC's position? Elizabeth, if you could unmute.
Did that work?
There you go.
It did.
Okay, thank you.
Elizabeth, we need to swear you in. Do you swear from your testimony this evening will be truthful?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
So just to give us some, and I apologize, I was actually driving and my car took over my phone, so I couldn't get to the camera and mute. So as Mr. Kennedy was saying, so this application originally, when it came in with the design in the Jugtown Historic District, it was only a HPC application because it did not have any variances and it was a residence. And what we understood is when they built the house, they had built it within 2 foot of the front yard setback, so that would be their violation. When HPC reviewed it, they looked at the original plans. Obviously, the building architecture and everything has remained as was approved. It is 2 feet closer. I wouldn't necessarily say, as Mr. Kennedy said, that it's a better location, but they had no objection because they felt that it did not deter from the historic neighborhood, the streetscape, or the Jugtown Historic District. So they had no objection. The reason they said that instead of supporting is because they obviously don't support anything where there is a violation or error in a design that was approved different than what was constructed.
Okay,
And
thank you, Elizabeth.
You're welcome.
Mr. Kennedy, you want to go on with your presentation?
Absolutely. First, we'll have our architect, Jeff Fleischer, if I could have him sworn in, and I'll introduce him to the board.
Mr. Fleischer, do you swear or affirm your testimony this evening will be truthful?
I do.
Thank you.
Jeff, I know you've appeared with this board many times, so if you could very briefly give the benefit of your credentials so I could have you accepted as an expert here tonight.
Sure. I have a bachelor's in architecture from New Jersey Institute of Technology. I've been licensed in New Jersey, Delaware, and Pennsylvania since 1995.
Thank you. We have seen you many times before. We don't need to go too far with that. Thank you,
Mr. Chairman.
Jeff. Go ahead.
If I could share my screen, we have one exhibit of slides that we'd like to have marked as our one exhibit this evening.
Sure.
All right. Hopefully that was successful. Jeff, going to slide 2. In blue, that is 6 Evelyn Place that we'll be talking here tonight.
That's correct. Yes.
Let me now going to slide 3. Maybe you could just orient. This is a revised map here, but let's talk for a second about how we're used to describing or calculating prevailing setbacks, and ultimately what you're used to with the plus or minus. However, but what happened here, right? So maybe to start at 27 and going up, Evelyn, we just talk through. I think we've marked the setbacks of the 3 homes that count towards the calculating the prevailing. Is that what we have here?
That's correct. Yes.
So I guess starting on the corner, we've got the orange line that shows where their setback is that was calculated by the municipality for us next door, where that was calculated. And then at the end, interestingly, there is a duplex, and half of the duplex counts as being on our side of the street. And the front of that actually is the 3rd prevailing setback.
That's correct. Yes.
And then for our lot that we'll be talking about 6 Evelyn Place, we've actually shaded in what it means to be, in this case, 33 feet from the lot line, which is actually very interestingly a curved and undulating kind of ribbon. Is that right?
Yes. Due to the circle at the end of the street. Yep.
So now moving to slide 4, we've overlaid the design of the home, and we'll zoom in a lot more as we go a little bit further. But so the home you designed actually was specifically, I guess, put together to follow that curve. Is
it
more or
was?
less?
Yes. The form in the front follows that curve. Yes.
So when we talk about violating the front setback, we're not talking about the entirety of the front of the house so much as a corner of part of it. Is that right?
That's right.
So zooming in again here on slide 5. So here we have, I guess, in gray at the bottom, that is the footprint of the home.
Yes.
And then green is that front yard area that, unfortunately, the way the home was ultimately sited, cuts through a very small portion of a part of that front of the building.
Yes, that's the 33-foot setback. Yes.
Now, I noticed that where the other part of the front of the house is actually set behind that 33 feet. So actually, could this part of the home could have been built closer to the street?
Yes, you could have filled in that triangle there. Yes.
But so moving next to slide 6, I guess on the top left and the right, those are renderings that you did of the home as proposed.
Yes.
And I guess highlighted in yellow is the more or less that piece of the corner that unfortunately is into that piece of the front yard setback if the plus or minus 2 feet doesn't count, which we now understand it does not.
Right. That's correct.
Moving to slide 7 here. Again, we've got a photo on the right. Now that's a kind of current, but ultimately that's the state of the building once the applicant realized what had happened and came to the town to ask for the variance. But that is essentially what has been built. Maybe you could just briefly say if we were to alter the front, what that might mean, what you'd have to do to do that.
Well, from the foundation up, you'd have to cut that corner as well as the roof.
And the type of foundation that this is, maybe you could describe that a little bit, how this was done and
yeah, this
I
house
need to do that.
has It's a prefabricated foundation that's brought in and placed on site. So it would have to be pulled out and remanufactured in a shorter distance.
And, looking on the left where the kind of, again, the map that shows what is into that front yard, it looks like that front porch is in the front yard, but that's there because front porches are meant to be and permitted to extend into the front yard setback?
Yes, they are.
So I guess you may put another way, the way you designed the house was to follow that line and actually make it appear or have that porch more prominent. But ultimately, so that is permitted, but that sliver of that front part of that first and second floor room is not.
Right. The house itself is not allowed.
We're going to see this more on another slide, but there's from looking at the house head on, there's a spot on the left, and from the map on the left of the screen, there's this inset. Ultimately, and you designed this as well, there is a kind of a cutout that ultimately lines up with some of the trees in the neighborhood and was helpful in protecting and siting the home to avoid, as best as possible, interfering with the roots and drip line of that tree.
That's right, yes. And we actually pushed the foundation in another 2 feet to allow for the root system for the tree.
So ultimately, if we were to shift the house back, and it wouldn't have to necessarily be a full 2 feet because that 31 feet is a diagonal, a little bit towards the back of the lot or to the side to avoid that de minimis, I think, incursion, it would have likely been closer to that tree as well.
Oh, definitely, yes.
I guess moving to slide 8 here, I guess you can see a little bit more of those trees that were kind of designed around in siting the home. Maybe speak a little bit. I know a lot of work went into protecting those roots and carving around them. I heard there's a term I hear often, but I never really seen one in action. But essentially air spades to make sure that the roots were protected and as opposed to trenching or cutting them and things of that nature.
Yes, they did take great care, and I know they worked even with the neighbor to make sure that they saved as much of the root system as possible.
Here's another view, kind of towards that corner, but again, you can see of what's built. That again, that 2 feet that we're talking about is that highlighted corner of the frontage of that portion of the house. Is that right?
That's right.
All right. Well, I don't know if anyone has any other questions for the architect other than a brief summary. That is our intended direct testimony. I'd like to be able to summarize briefly before we finish up, but I'm happy to yield to any questions that are.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Any questions by board members? I have a question. Exactly how big is that corner? Is it a foot?
Well, the 2 legs would be about 2 feet, yes, each. The 2 legs of the triangle. If that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Any other questions?
Steve, I have a question.
Sure, Donna.
The trees you're talking about, gentlemen, these trees are on your property or on the neighbor's property?
They're on this property, but very close to the property line.
Okay.
Other questions? Before we go into public session, Mr. Kennedy, would you like to?
Just very, very briefly, just so I got it partially at least out there, of the 2 variance types, I think a C2 is more appropriate here. Just going through the purposes of the zoning, we think A, C, E, I, J, and M, particularly J, which is to promote the conservation of historic sites and districts, open space, and energy resources. Ultimately, the requirement to rebuild this in a way that almost has no visible difference or discernible change ultimately, because such a small portion of a very unique setback is implicated because of the curvature of this road and the design of the home that puts the a beautiful front porch in the place that the town would like to see it, almost hides the incursion from view. We believe it's de minimis. We don't think that there's really any negative impact to either the zone plan, either from the neighbor perspective, and there's some positive of citing it in this particular location, which helped to avoid the tree that was there on the side through a kind of unique cutout arrangement that was keyed in to where the tree was. Ultimately, we also don't believe there's any negative on the general welfare or zone plan. And since if there's no negatives, hopefully you can determine that means that there's no the benefits definitely outweigh that lack of detriment. So hopefully you agree. Unfortunately, this is a developer, an applicant that ultimately found the mistake. One that even as a practitioner who looks at these quite often, the lack of the plus or minus in this of 2 feet in this scenario is one that I'm much more aware of now than I would have been at the beginning of this. I assure you that it's a unique street where the homes that are matching, frankly, we are set behind one of them now because that 33 feet is at a diagonal from the curved street line, and the neighboring house we could have actually been in front of by building the house forward a little bit with perhaps a different design or infilling. So the goal of prevailing setbacks is to create uniformity and a appropriate front visual scene for a street. We agree with HPC that there was no detriment to the street or particularly the historic district in this ultimate location or design. But for that plus or minus 2 foot mistake, it would comply. And the part that doesn't comply is, there's no definition of de minimis, but it is a quite small portion. This is not a case where the entire traditional front of a home is in the setback. It is a part where, and in fact, before we redid our slides, we had a difficult time kind of showing HPC which part of it even didn't comply when we were there. So again, hopefully you agree that this minor incursion is better than the alternative of re-impacting the trees in the neighborhood by rebuilding that front in a different way, which itself would require another trip back to HPC, we believe, for a revised design if one could be put together. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. We'll now open to the public. If there's somebody in the public who would like to speak, please hit the raise hand button on the bottom of your screen, and we will transfer you over to the meeting. I don't see any hands. Claudia, do you see anything?
No, no hands.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Elizabeth, I apologize. I don't know where my raise hand button is on my phone, but if I had an opportunity just to answer, someone asked a question about the driveway and the garage on the site survey plan, which I could explain. I think that if you look on the memo from the HPC chair, there were 2 recommendations, one which asked that the as-built survey be performed, which the proposed garage is eliminated because the way the garage is shown on that plan is not what was approved. My understanding from the contractor is that they were interested in changing the design. It was a 2-car garage, and I believe it's shown as a 1-car, and they would like to also pull it back a little bit so it doesn't face, it's further behind the building. It gives the vehicle an opportunity to drive out forward instead of having to back up like 600 feet, which was one of their HPC's original comments. But that had not come before HPC. And for us to review it, they had said that they would eliminate that from their application and come back separately. So just for clarification on what you see in your submission.
Okay, thank you, Elizabeth. We will close the public session now. I assume, Mr. Kennedy, you don't need to give us another summary.
No, you don't need to hear that more than once. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll close the session and go into executive session. Board members, any comments, questions, motions, seconds? I do have one quick question. How did you discover it?
I'll suggest that I believe, honestly, it was, I believe, just the field work in working on those kind of as-built that realized it. Jeff, if that line up with your take?
I believe it was the contractor himself. He was standing in the backyard and thought, this looks a little bigger than what I thought it was going to be. And then he asked for the as-built survey, and that's how we discovered it.
Thank you. Other questions, board members?
So if we approve this, then the proposed garage, we would make clear, is not being approved.
I'll to reiterate what Ms. Kim said and just what we'll stipulate to, absolutely. The previously approved garage, which is front facing, is not the subject of this application. It's the builder is thinking about changing it. If that were to happen, we would go back to HPC to seek the change. We're not seeking that here this evening.
And then what about the driveway? The driveway stands the way it's shown on your plan?
That is correct. And that has not changed from what was approved by HPC.
Elizabeth, you had noted also HPC's recommendations, or perhaps you didn't, but it's in the memo. Conditions of the HPC's June 17, 2024 resolution. Have they been met now? Are they still relevant, or?
They have all been satisfied. Yes, there were some. There was a HPC subcommittee that did some minor recommendation changes to the architecture, more of the exterior alignment of some type of trim, which was already approved. And I believe that the attorney only wanted to include that for the zoning board adjustments reference, just to say that it was approved.
Right. So HPC, this would need to be a condition then of the zoning board approval if the board were so willing. It's not necessary now since they've been complied with.
Right. I think it's just number one of the memo, which is to have it as built with the garage removed as they show it there.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions, board members? Motion?
I would move to approve this, but, whatever HPC approved, but not the garage. And that little triangle, I mean, to me, it seems more like a C1, but what do other people think?
Well, I guess now the question is, what is it about the property that you find prevented them from complying? I think even the applicant acknowledges that it was, misreading of an ordinance and it's de minimis, etc. But I don't think they're arguing that because of the lot configuration, they couldn't do it. So they need
I just thought it was because of the curve. The curve just made it difficult and confusing. But if I could go with the C2 if the board feels that that's more appropriate.
Sounds like Karen feels it.
Well, I do, but
anybody else have an opinion about it?
Let's go with what Karen feels then,
All right. So you've made the motion, Tana?
Yes.
Thank you.
In a convoluted way, yes.
Is there a second? I see a hand. Bernice, do you want to unmute it, or Eve?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any other questions before we take a vote? Comments? All right, Claudia, do you want to take the roll?
Ms. Chen,
Yes.
Ms. Coulson,
Yes.
Mr. Floyd,
Yes.
Ms. Donna,
Yes.
Mr. Dobkin,
You're muted, David.
Yes.
Vice Chair Shriver.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Yep.
Mr. Kennedy.
Mr. Schreiber, could I just say
Yes.
something quickly here?
Sure.
Sorry to interrupt you. I don't know if anyone knows, I'm sure a lot of people know, but Elizabeth is retiring at the end of this month, and I would just like to extend my gratitude for all the work you've done the last 10 years you've been the Historic Preservation Officer. It's been a real pleasure to work with you, and we will miss you. I'm speaking for myself, but I think the board feels the same way, and I just want that to go out there. You've done a great job, and you will be missed.
Well, thank you so much. And I have to say, I've always enjoyed coming to the Zoning Board of Adjustment. It's always been interesting. We've always had interesting projects, and we seem to pretty much be in line with most of the projects that we reviewed. And I do want to extend an invitation to you to come to HPC's annual holiday party on Monday, the 15th. We're going to have a meeting that starts at 5, but the celebration will start at 6. It's going to be in the community room in the Witherspoon Municipal Building. So please come. We'd love for you to come and at least meet the other HPC members, and the new Historic Preservation Officer is going to be there as well. So it's a great opportunity to meet her as well, and me too.
Elizabeth, will you continue on the board, or are you?
No.
You're leaving altogether. Well, we do thank you immensely, and you have been a big part of our meetings for a long time. So thank you for your help and support.
Of course. Thank you.
Okay,
See you on
I think-
Monday.
I think we'll take a 5-minute break. It's now 8:40. We'll resume at 8:45.
Great.
Missing Derek. Okay, are we still recording? I think we are.
Yes,
so
we are.
All right, we will resume with the application for 416 North Harrison Street, Block 7202, Lot 7, in the R-6T zone. Karen, are we in order?
Yes, the noticing is in order and the board has jurisdiction tonight.
Thank you. Taylor, would you like to present the case, please?
Yes, sir. So the subject property lot is 416 North Harrison Street. That's block 7202, lot 7. It's in the R6T zone. The applicant is, apologies if I mispronounce your name, Raimundas Grubliaskis and Monica Grubliaskine. The applicants are requesting a C1 and a C2 variance to permit the construction of a single-family dwelling in exception to the required lot width and lot frontage. The subject property lot is non-complying with respect to the required lot frontage, which the requirement is 85 feet and the existing is 75 feet. The subject property lot does not meet the lot width. The required lot width is 85 feet and the existing is 75. The applicant is proposing to construct a new 2-story single-family home with a full basement. The home features 4 bedrooms, a kitchen, a living room, a dining room, and 4.5 baths. A detached 2-car garage is proposed behind the home. The applicant should advise if they have contacted the adjacent property owners to determine if they would sell any property to lessen or eliminate the variance, or if the alternative purchase of purchase the subject lot. The applicant has requested consideration under the C1 and the C2 criteria. And if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Any questions for Taylor? Thank you, Taylor.
No problem.
I was going to read their names, but I think I would have had more trouble than you did. So, I see Monica's picture, but no sound. And you don't look like Monica.
Oh, yes. Hello, everyone. I'm using my wife's computer.
And your name is?
Raimundas Grubliauskas.
Sir, we need to swear you in. Do you swear or affirm your testimony this evening will be truthful?
I do.
Thank you. And sir, you're going to represent yourself then in the application tonight, is that correct?
I'm hoping on our architect, Rick Perez.
Okay. Claudia, do you see him in attendees?
Yes, 1 second.
Okay.
What about your contractor? Do you want him over too or no?
Yeah, of course, we can have him also.
Well, he's declining to become a panelist. So if you want to let
No,
him
no,
know.
I'm not. No, I'm not.
Okay.
Not you, the contractor, sir.
Okay. Understood. That's fine.
Okay.
Here we go. We see somebody.
Yep, I'm Ricardo Perez. I'm the architect for Mr.
I
Grubliauskas.
understand, Mr. Perez. We're looking to see now if I don't know
VJ.
if your builder.
VJ,
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Can
we
we see
can't
you,
see
sir?
you.
Yeah, we can't see you.
I don't think I have the video. Okay, I'll quickly join on the other call.
All right. Well, for the time being, we will swear you in, Mr. Perez. Do you swear or affirm your testimony this evening will be truthful?
Yes.
And sir, are you a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey?
I am. I'm a registered architect in the state of New Jersey.
All righty. And you are the architect of record for this project?
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Is your name Ramondas?
Yes.
So if I call you Ramondas, I'm basically correct.
Perfect. Yes.
Thank you. You're welcome to go ahead and present your case.
I'm going to be doing the presentation for Mr. Ramondas, if that's okay.
No, that's fine.
So I'm going to share my screen right now. Okay. Okay, I'll start with just a general location of the property. Let's see if you can see the screen in here. This is the property. Okay, is my screen showing?
Yes.
It is. Mr. Perez, do you know how many slides you'll have? Because we could collectively make them an exhibit for you, Exhibit A1.
Yeah, I'm gonna have at least 4.
4. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay, and this is just to show general location of the property in question, which is here with the red dot. This is 416 North Harrison Street. You can see the yellow properties at the bottom of the sheet here are similar size lots, about 75 feet. They're all undersized. The lots a few of the lots to the north of us are slightly larger than 85 feet. But as you can see from the yellow on the map, most of the lots are 75 feet or smaller even. These get smaller at this end. So we're surrounded by a lot of small lots in this area. So just to give you a little context of the overall location of this property. My next exhibit here, this is Crest Engineering's drawing that was submitted for approval. It is dated 4/25, and I'll start with their existing drawing just to give you a little understanding of the existing site. This is the existing property in question. What we're proposing to do is take out the carport and the 1-car garage and add an addition on this end. And then
we don't have a new slide, Rickard.
Oh, you don't see it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let me stop that one and start the new one. I'm sorry. I don't have them in order.
That's all right.
Okay. Is this one being shared now? No,
Not yet.
Not yet. Here we go. Okay. Maybe you have the slide now? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So this is the existing site plan as submitted from Crest Engineering, just to show the existing house, the existing footprint. So we're not changing the footprint with the exception of knocking the garage down, the 1-car garage. The vestibule is coming out, and there's going to be a new addition in this corner. And this is the existing property. We're maintaining the front yard line, so there's not going to be any change to that for the new house. Here's the proposed house. Here's an addition. This is the existing footprint, although we're rebuilding it. But this is the additional footprint. This is within the setback. There's no variances required there. And this is the overall site plan. So we're here today for one simple thing. We have a non-conforming 75-foot lot where 85 foot is required. So our frontage and our required widths are both short. There are no other variances with the exception of the existing condition of this part of the building, which is encroaching on the side yard. That's an existing part of the building that's being maintained. The rest of the construction will be new, and we're here today because of the fact that it's a non-conforming lot. The building itself, and I'm going to switch drawings here to my third exhibit.
Got it.
Okay. Okay. So here's our demolition drawing. So you can see what we're taking away from the house. And the reason we decided to take away most of the basement is because it's structurally unsound at the moment. It's leaking water. This home was built in 1950. The ground on the outside was not well maintained. So there's a lot of damage to the existing foundation. We were attempting to repair it, but it was not cost effective to repair it. So we were hoping to replace it. And in replacing it, we're going to go a little bit deeper because the current basement height is only about 6 feet, 6 foot too high, which is a very shallow basement. It doesn't meet the occupancy requirements for today's modern homes. So the new homes, just to show you what it's going to look like, the floor plan, it's a modest home. It's about 2,500 square feet. You can see the front elevation facing Harrison here It's in keeping with the rest of the neighborhood. This is the existing portion of the building here. We're hoping to replace the foundation under it because it's also in bad shape, but that's the existing portion. So in short, this is basically a lot that's too narrow for the existing conditions. Had we not been building a new home, we would not be before this board. So there are no other variances required for this property that we're aware of at this moment. The variance will not harm the public good or zoning plan in any way whatsoever, and is the only necessary relief for this project. It is also part of the Princeton master plan to reduce the cost of development and increase investment by streamlining review, permitting, and approval procedures. Exactly what we're doing here tonight. So this would be in keeping with the master plan, as well with items number M and possibly G of the municipal utilities authorities. And G is to basically provide sufficient space in appropriate locations for a variety of, and I'll short list, residential, commercial, industrial uses, and open spaces, both public and private. And as well as M, to encourage coordination of the various public and private procedures and activities shaping land development with a view of lessening the cost of such development and to the more efficient use of land. So hopefully this is your easiest application of the evening, and hopefully, and let's see if I have anything else to say here. I had a lot more drawings and exhibits, but I think this is a pretty simple application, and I'll take any questions from the board or anybody.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you for the presentation. Board members, any questions, comments?
Yeah, I have a question, please.
Yeah, sure, Michael.
Maybe you can clarify for me. So you're keeping the left side of the house and you're building new on the right side. So in keeping the left side, you don't need a variance for the left side setback.
Correct, because it's existing, non-conforming.
And why, and maybe this is a question for Derek, why is a variance not needed for the right side if that's new? And if it's only going to be 7.8 feet from the lot line?
So the plan submitted showed that these existing portion that's to remain is to remain, and that's grandfathered. I mean, that's an existing nonconformity. But then I heard testimony that you want to replace the basement under there, which would require a variance from the side yard setback. So if that stays as it is now, which was my understanding, there's no variance needed for that. If a basement's replaced, then a variance should be requested for the side yard setback of 7.8 feet or whatever it is. So maybe if you could clarify that for the board.
Yeah,
sure. I can clarify that. We won't replace the basement in based on what you just said, Derek, because we don't want to add another variance to the list at this late time in the game. That's going to bring us back to another meeting. So what we'll do is basically we'll just repair that existing foundation. And the reason we went with not repairing the whole foundation is because it was not cost effective. But we can repair that section of foundation if we have to. And it's a repair. It's not a replacement, because we can stop the leakage by waterproofing the outside. We can reinforce it from the inside and add concrete or whatever is necessary in order to reinforce it. It's not stable at the moment, or it won't be stable after we build this new, larger, heavier home on it.
Okay, Michael, any?
No, that was it.
Any other questions?
Yes, compared to the other houses that have lots that are too small, is the size of this house bigger, about the same, smaller?
It's going to be bigger because it's a two-story home. The existing home that's on site right now is a very small home. I think it's about 1,200 square feet, maybe less. I don't know the exact size of the home to the left. The home to the right is larger. It's a two-story home. So it's probably more in keeping with our homes. The homes to the north, there's at least 4 of them that are probably in the 25 to 3,000 square foot range. So some of the ones in the smaller lots are certainly smaller. Some of them are 1 story, some of them are not. So there's a variety of lands. There's also a variety of lot sizes in that area, mostly small.
Thank you.
Donna?
A couple questions. Taylor's memo mentioned something about whether the property owner had inquired of surrounding property owners, if any.
Yes. There was an inquiry made to the property owner on the left. They have no interest in selling. They also have an undersized lot.
How about the property owner on the right?
The property owner on the right has a larger lot. There was an attempt to contact him. We were not successful with that attempt. But we also noticed that if he were to have the additional 10 feet that we need for our lot, he would then in turn lose his driveway and his access to his garage. So that would entail basically renovating that house as well, or changing the driveway location at the very least. But it would also create the potential of a nonconformity on his property, because now his garage is going to be maybe too close to the property line. There's only about 28, 29 feet between our property line and their house. Giving us 10 feet of that would eliminate his driveway. So although we did try to speak to him anyway, to see if there was any way of working it out, but it doesn't seem possible without renovating that house as well. Making it a front entry garage, moving the driveway, et cetera. And potentially a nonconformity of the side yard. So we'd be passing our nonconformity to that property.
Okay, can we talk about the garage? I'm looking at your existing property and the proposed, and both of them say proposed garage. So is the garage something that would be brand new?
Yes, brand new garage, detached behind the rear yard of the house.
Okay, and Derek, does it, or Taylor, does it need a setback variance? I mean, does it meet the setback criteria?
It does, 5 feet.
That's correct. It's an accessory structure. Less than 15 feet in height, so it has a 5-foot setback.
So it meets it. Okay, thanks.
Mr. Perez, just one more question for you. You said was it you who actually had a discussion with the adjacent property owner?
It was not me. It was the owner.
It was
Ray.
the owner. Okay.
Yes.
And
he reached out to the property owner on the north as well, just not successfully speaking to him.
all right, but one of the adjacent lots has, at this point, they're not non-conforming with respect to lot area, but you're saying if they were to provide land, it would make them non-conforming.
I think so. I think they would be in violation of the side yard requirement of 15 feet.
Okay.
And
Let me
they
just
would have
ask
to yeah.
And let me just ask the applicant. So, sir, you said you reached out to one neighbor as well as an additional neighbor to the north. Were you able to speak to him, or?
With the one of the on the left side for 410.
Okay, so you spoke to the owner at 410.
Yes.
And did you try and reach any other neighbors? Did you reach out to anybody else?
424 on the right side, yeah. So of course.
Okay.
Yeah, on both
All right.
sides.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Before we go into public section, Mr. Perez, would you like to? Oh,
I'm
wait a
sorry.
minute. Eve, do you have a
Give
question?
me a second to unmute. I'm a little concerned about the patching the old and the new basement together. And I guess that's not really my personal worry, but I'm just wondering if we might all agree that it might be better to have one brand new basement. I mean, I don't know if maybe it's fixable. Maybe it's not a big deal. But would that then trigger some very complicating maneuvers that we would have to do? And would it in fact mean that we would need to reconsider this at a future meeting, or is that something we could?
Derek, can we do that?
I mean, it's really a noticing issue. I think, I don't know what the applicants notice. They should have noticed for the variance before they came here, and the application should have reflected it. So I don't know, Karen, if that can be subsumed, if their notice did include that catch-all, any other waivers or the board deems necessary, but I I think it's,
I'm not sure that it did. And what that would mean then is that the additional variance they would need is what? Now, if they were to, they would need a side yard setback variance as well?
yes, ma'am, 7.8 feet versus 15.
Well,
So kind of by grandfathering it, we don't touch it. It just, it's
correct, because it's
No, I mean,
just
I had the
remaining.
same thought, but I just don't know. I just don't. If they'd asked for it, I think it, you know, it would have been noticed and would have been, the board was agreeable. But
Derek, can I ask this question? What if we were to replace the foundation without taking the building down?
I don't know. I don't know how you do that.
Well, just like when we raise houses, we hold it up in the air and we build a new foundation below it.
What's kind of the circular argument why we got here, because the whole foundation, you were going to save the foundation before and we weren't going to call it a new home, but now.
That's correct. It turned into a new
Right.
home, and that's why we're at the variance meeting.
Well, we've got the notice on the screen, and yes, they did ask for any other variance relief deemed necessary or appropriate by the applicant or the board, and which may arise during the course of the hearing process. So I guess the only question is for the neighboring property. Now there would be an encroachment into their side yard, and they didn't get notice of it. So there's a question, I guess, of whether technically the board could go ahead and grant it, balanced with, does the board think it would have been appropriate for the neighbors to know about that now there was going to be an encroachment in the side yard?
I think before we decide, Karen and Derek have to tell us whether we could do it.
I mean, it would have been cleaner if they'd have noticed for it. At the end of the day, there'll be excavation 7 feet from the property line versus the 15-foot foundation that they're going to dig now. So, it's a tough call.
Okay, well, let's move on. Eve, we can come back to that in the executive conversations.
See if there's any
Mr.
public.
Perez, what, Derek?
I mean, maybe someone from the public has the neighbor. I don't know if they're here.
Yeah, let's, Mr. Perez, do you want to give a summary before we go to the public portion?
Yeah, I kind of did give my summary as far as the lot being an existing non-conforming width and frontage. There's an existing side yard encroachment that's grandfathered in. We are asking for relief of the 85-foot requirement in lieu of the existing 75-foot on the lot. The variance will not harm the public good or the zoning plan, if given. It is the only necessary relief for this project.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll close this portion unless there's a question. Anyone have a question? Okay, we'll close this portion and go to the public. If there's somebody in the public who would like to speak, please hit the raise your hand button at the bottom of your screen and we will transfer you over to this meeting. I see we only have 2 members of the public and I don't see their hand going up. I'll give you another second or 2. Claudia, I don't see one. Do you?
No, there are no hands.
Okay, we'll close the public section. And before we go to executive session, Mr. Perez, you may again give us a summary if you'd like, or I think we can remember what you've said.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say is that, if we can't replace the whole foundation because of the side setback situation, we understand. Our drawings are already drawn that way to keep the existing foundation in place. We like to replace it, so everything's brand new, except for that existing portion of the house that's above grade.
Okay, thank you. We'll now close this portion and go into executive session. We can gladly discuss this. Any questions or comments? Motions? I happen to like the architectural look of the property, and I think it will add to the area.
Thank you.
You know, I kind of share Eve's concern about the basement. And, you know, it seems it might be cleaner to maybe renotice and let the neighbor know. And if the neighbor comes in to talk about it, fine. If not, they don't.
Well, I wonder, I guess, cleaner for who?
For everybody. I think for the applicant, because it gives them certainty. I think for the board, because it gives us some completeness, maybe. I mean, but I would defer to what Karen thinks about that.
Okay.
I mean,
I feel that the applicant can make their own decision on the foundation. And if they want to proceed as they presented it, then fine. I mean, it's going to be subject to, you know, construction code, and they can take whatever risks they want. Sounds like they don't feel they're taking much of a risk as they presented it. You know, so I supported C1 as is, as they submitted it. But
I agree with Michael. I don't think we need to try to help design this. Other comments? Motion? Don't be shy.
Somebody.
Sure,
Okay,
I agree with letting the architect and owner decide what they feel is right for their foundation. So I would move to approve it.
Thank you. Bernice has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Michael. Eve, I do happen to agree with you. If we could have done it cleanly, I think it would have been something worth doing, but if we can't, then
I just
yeah, no, I think it's a reasonable idea. So
Good idea.
any other comments before we vote on this? Claudia, you want to take the roll, please?
Ms. Chen,
Yes.
Ms. Coulson,
yes.
Mr. Floyd,
yes.
Ms. Donna,
No.
Mr. Dobkin,
Yes.
Vice Chair Shriver.
Yes.
Thank you. It's approved.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good
folks.
luck with your home.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Any other comments before we adjourn? Otherwise, have a happy holiday, and we will, Donna and Eve, I hope you make it through the next week of holiday planning, and we will see you all next year. Thank you very much.
I
New Year.
Bye, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Easy.